Oh no, mic problems.
There you go.
There it is.
Well, Beniel, I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, but you don't seem like someone that really pays attention to it. But the whole prelim main card positioning, has that ever played a like? Did you ever have you ever thought about that in your?
Nah, I didn't care much about it. The only thing that was like, okay, I'm gonna fight at 9:30 or I'm gonna fight at 10. That's the only thing that came to my mind. And plus, bro, I mentioned this before, but like Rodolfo Vieira, that was a guy that everybody's like. He came onto the jiu-jitsu scene when I was a purple belt, brown belt, and he just ran through everybody. So I had, I was a big fan of him. And then same thing with Bo. Bo, the way he wrestles, he had a different style coming out of Penn State. He didn't quite have the similar style. He had a lot of funk in his game, and like he was very fun to watch. So I was a fan of both of them. I had no issue with them being on the main card.
Did you have any thoughts of the fans seemed more upset about like them being above you? Like the fans came to your defense more than anyone.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that till later on, and I just thought that was really sweet. It's not often. I don't interact with my fans often, so it's not often I get to see too much from them. But that was really cool. It's genuinely appreciated.
And Benoit, obviously one of the more violent fighters, as the fans say in the UFC. So I guess it's just like I see the big grin on your face. Is this the type of fight that you get excited for?
Yeah, this is a good fight, man. It's exciting. He's a good fighter. He's very skilled. He's more experienced now, and I just think stylistically it's a fun fight for me. And I just, obviously I think I'm better, so I'm excited for the fight.
It's when fans break him down, they always like point to his striking, and his opponents don't really look the same after they fight Benoit. But he has a lot of submissions in there too, and he has a pretty decorated ground game. So when you're breaking him down, I guess what stands out to you from his skill set?
Yeah, when I watch him, I see more of a grappler, to be honest with you. But everybody sees him differently. I would say current culture is very short attention span. So what you see a lot of is his highlights. But if you watch the entirety of his fights, clearly he's a great grappler, very dominant in that, and I think something I need to watch out for.
And you were already in the UFC when he made his debut, pro debut, I think. So at what point did he get on your radar? Was there like a fight you're like, all right, I'm gonna probably have to fight this guy at some point?
Maybe the Matt Fravilla fight, maybe that one, or which one am I thinking of right now? Obviously, he fell short against Dustin, but I also saw him, fight Thiago Moises, and he had a very dominant performance with Thiago. So those were fights that came to my mind that made me think, oh, this could be a possible fight in the future.
And like I said, you've been in this game for a long time, and I've asked this to guys like Charles and everyone. Like, at what point do you stop preparing for your opponent specifically because you've seen so many different styles and just kind of focus on yourself?
I think it's always focus on yourself first, but maybe like an 80-20. Mostly on yourself and then 20% on your opponent, and then you make adjustments a little bit based on the opponent, but mostly you try to cover up your own holes. I think if you want to be a great fighter, you focus on your holes, and if you can fill those holes, that's when you become the most dangerous. But then again, you still have to study tape, see what your opponent does, how to react to it, and all that stuff. So you got to do all A through Z.
And just last one for me, I think a win would put you second all-time lightweight wins, just behind Jim Miller. I think you're currently tied with Cowboy. So were you aware of that, and does stats like that even matter to you at this point?
I mean, I wasn't aware of it, but it sounds cool. So it sounds very cool. Obviously, there's guys like even Cowboy. He had more wins because he went to 170 and whatever, and I'm sure there's other guys that fought in different divisions. But I mean, it's still cool. I still think it's really cool. So thank you for letting me know.
You think you can catch Jim? I think he's at 24 right now.
24 wins? Yeah. I don't know, bro. That's a lot because he's not stopping. You know what I mean? If he decides to stop and I'm still feeling good, maybe. But if he keeps going the way he's going, I don't know.
I think he said he wants like 50 UFC fights, and then that's a wrap.
Come on, Jim. Take a break, man. But okay. Well, if that's what Jim wants, that's what Jim gets.
Beniel right here, right in the front.
Oh.
Yeah. You mentioned that Benoit St-Denis is known for his grappling. I mean, his last 2 matches, he dominated with his grappling. But you're an even more decorated grappler. Guys who have tried to grapple you, usually doesn't really work out for them. So do you expect him to maybe try to just keep it striking?
Yeah, he could. Honestly, when you say more decorated, I don't really know, because I haven't grappled in an actual grappling match in so long, so I don't really know what that means anymore. More decorated, but I think in grappling I have an advantage for sure. So he could go that route, and if he goes that route, that's fine. I have plenty of ways to deal with that.
Yeah, when I'm talking about grappling, I mean, you've won world championships in grappling.
Yeah, that was what was that? 2011 and 2012 and 2010, like white belt, blue belt, purple belt. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like I was in the black belts. I stopped competing after brown belt. So I don't know. Like a brown belt from back then is world champion brown belt. I feel like today would be like a good purple belt. That's how much the sport has grown, which is great. I love seeing it.
It's also a very humble answer too.
I think it's just the truth, unfortunately.
So Islam was in here, and he kept saying that he kept talking about legacy. When you decide to hang it up, what do you want your legacy to be?
Man, my legacy is Christ. I don't really care what people look back. I did this for a lot of selfish reasons because I just love fighting, and then I hope even though I came with the wrong motivation, I hope that people will remember that the reason I fought was because I had a love for the Lord.
I think it's a beautiful answer, and just to bounce off of that, when I think I always think about when you were in Abu Dhabi and you won, and then you stood in a area that is mostly Muslim, and you preached the gospel of Jesus.
First, I just want to make sure everybody understands, Abu Dhabi, they were very friendly. And yes, I did preach the name of Jesus in a Muslim majority country, but this is not like, because I have genuine friends who are missionaries, and if in different countries where if they do that in public they would be killed. So I understand that it was not an easy thing to do, but it was not. Sometimes we put too much on it, and I don't want that to take away from the true people that spread the gospel in dangerous areas. I was never in danger, just to be clear. Everybody actually was very nice to me afterwards. They just wanted to make sure they clarified, listen, we believe in Jesus as a prophet and this and that, but there's never any danger, you know what I mean? But Lord willing, I get more chances to do that.
I still don't think many people would do what you did.
Well, over time, I guess God will change your heart to do the things you're supposed to do.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Beniel, way back here, other side. There you go. Thank you. 25th UFC fight this Saturday night, first time at MSG. When you got this opportunity, what was the reaction like?
I'm going to be honest. I was like, man, because I was hoping to fight in Vegas because December, it's just easier, bro. You drive there, it's warmer. Well, I guess maybe not in December, but it's typically warmer, easier to move around. But just when they said MSG, I was like, man, that's going to be special. I don't want to miss out on that. So I think this is. I didn't even realize it, but I think this is going to be like one of the higher marks as far as places I fought. There's 2 other places that I really want to fight in. There's Chicago because of the Syrian fans, and also Australia because of the Syrian fans. So this is, I don't know. We'll see how the fight goes. But after the fight, this might be the top of the list. Yeah.
100%. In the lead up to this fight, it seemed like it was the second time that a rematch with Gamrot had been tossed around. So I'm just wondering, do you think that fight is inevitable to happen again?
So before I fought Moicano, I actually said yes to Gamrot, and then nothing ever came of it. So then they gave me Moicano again, and then recently I think maybe they were trying to make the fight happen, but then he ended up fighting with Charles. Honestly, I don't know, bro. Right now, I got a pretty tough guy in front of me. I'm not really focused on Gamrot, and to be honest with you, to fight a guy that tough, ideally, I'd like to do it, in a situation where there's a belt on the line. I don't want to fight where like he's number 8, I'm number 9, and we just switch places or we stay the same. I want it to be a little bit more value in terms of rankings.
Just one more. Just kind of go off of that. I remember, like, when you were about to fight Charles, everyone kept asking about Islam next. And
Yeah.
you're like, bro, I'm about to fight Charles
Yeah.
Oliveira. So at this point in your career, is it annoying that everyone keeps asking you what's next, even though you have this fight in front of you?
I wouldn't call it annoying. You know what's annoying is like, hey, you think this is your last one? It's like, bro, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll let you know after the fight. But it's like, do you think this is your last one? I was like, I don't know, maybe. I think that was more annoying. Not annoying, but more difficult. Actually, annoying isn't the right word because it was actually challenging. You're asking me a question that I genuinely don't have an answer to, so it was very difficult to answer. It's like, hey, are you done? I don't know. I'm struggling with it. So, when people ask me something, I don't like to say I don't know. I don't think I don't know. Unless you genuinely don't know, it's not a good answer. I think this is just because I'm a father now, so I try to give clear answers. I don't know is not a great answer. So, but yeah, I think that was more difficult. As far as questions go, do you think this is your last one? That was the most difficult question or annoying.
Beniel, just one more for you. Can you give us your breakdown and prediction for Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev?
Yeah, that's a really tricky one because originally I was leaning toward Makhachev, and then recently I've been just because I watch his fights, and sometimes he fights perfect, and then sometimes he gives up things, and you're just like, man, I can't believe he gave that up, right? So I don't know. Originally I was leaning toward Makhachev, but I think I'm leaning towards JDM now, but. We'll see. I really don't know because if JDM comes in and he's able to establish his fakes like he did with Belal and establish his range like he did with Belal, I think he's going to be a really difficult fight for Makhachev. And then Makhachev adjusting to 170 might not be that easy. I know it's easier to go up in weight, but adjusting isn't that simple. So. Yeah, I'm gonna lean with JDM, but not by much. All right, guys, thank you.